We did get a troll once. They said it was really bad.
Oh, really? Yeah. No way. Someone left a comment on your video and they said it was really bad.
Am I allowed to swear? Or I don't know. They said
you can swear.
They were like,
it should be,
don't show us this shit content again.
Really?
What they wrote,
Oh, that's horrible.
So it was funny though, because we were like, oh great. At first I was like, oh, that's awful. But then you're like, well, now you got a troll. You must be getting somewhere.
Wow, you're really thinking about things differently now that you've done sketch comedy.
Yeah.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Convo Couch. Today we've got Lisa Robinson, actress, director, writer, and comedian. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
How did you get started?
With acting? I guess I was in... It's weird, I was in high school and I hadn't even done like a class yet, and I always wanted to be a hairdresser, and then year 8, for some reason, I hadn't like even done drama yet. I just like one day woke up and I was like, I want to be an actor. So I don't know why that happened, but that's kind of how I had that thought. And then I sort of joined one of the drama classes and did some, I was in A Midsummer Night's Dream, and from there I guess just kept interested, and then sort of studied at a place that was called Wesley Institute, but it's now called Excelsior. And then I did a lot of study as well. I went overseas and did a course at the acting corps in LA, and I also did a screen actor course here at NIDA. So I guess I did a lot of study, and then I realised stop hiding behind studying and start doing stuff properly. And so now I still sort of do classes and stuff, but it kind of was just hiding behind the classes for ages and not actually getting out there and doing too much. But now been getting out there and doing stuff, so that's that's how it all.
What was the trigger point for you to go from study to really pushing yourself out there?
I think I'd been doing it, I guess there's the 3 years plus another year. It was probably like 5 years all up, and then I was like, all right, I think I was scared of failing and not being good at it or that kind of thing. So I just decided, now's the time. And did some came up with some sketch groups with some friends and things like that. And I guess it was creating a lot of my own work, because I felt like it was hard to get into stuff here in Sydney, maybe because like the industry is a little smaller than it is overseas when I was in LA. But I felt like if I created my own work rather than sitting on my butt, then things would come about. So just created some sketch groups. And so
during the 5 years while you were studying, you were also doing sketch?
I hadn't started that at that point. Right. Yeah, that was just came about.
That's
afterwards.
A recent thing.
Yeah, okay. I love improv and comedy, so I just thought, I'll come up with a few different things. And I did a class actually with Nisreen, my friend, an improv class with Lynn Pierce at the Hub Studio, and then we met up and one of our sketch groups is called Shaz and Tina, and we just had these two characters that came about from this one meeting that we had. We put on some wigs and then I was like, oh, hi, I'm Shaz, and she was like, hi, I'm Tina, and then it kind of just formed from there. So that was one of them, and then there was another one I was doing with some girls from my college, and then another one called 3 Girls, 1 Camera, where we have, there's 3 of us and we just have 1 camera and we do different sketch groups, like based on real life things that happen.
I guess while you're starting, were you doing like other things as well that sometimes helps with like other roles in the future?
Yeah, I think when I was studying, I guess honestly I wasn't doing too much at the time. I was just working and that was about it. So it did take me a while to sort of catch up to things, but now I'm working but also sort of auditioning and doing my own things, and I did 3 plays recently. Almost killed myself with I shouldn't say that, but like as in it was too much work.
Yeah.
I overwhelmed myself by being in 3 shows at one time for the Fringe Festival, but it was really cool to be a part of that.
And especially while you're working as well, sometimes a lot of people find it hard to get that balance between working and acting, and sometimes when you act, like you never know when your next job is coming, and it might all come at once. Yeah,
it's like it doesn't always happen like spaced out. Everything comes at once and then there's nothing, and then it comes at once again. But it was like 3 weeks, one after the other, and so I don't know how I slept, and that's what I mean about before. I'm like, I don't know how I slept and don't know how I got through everything, and living out far away from like in North Richmond, it was like the travelling and all of that stuff, but we got there, so that was the main thing. It was fun, I guess, to be able to push myself and all the characters were very different as well, so that's why I kind of couldn't turn them down.
Yeah.
One of them was with Nisreen, with the Shaz and Tina thing. We did a show called Shaz and Tina Waiting for Uber.
Okay.
Which was cool. It was just these two girls waiting for Uber, pretty much.
So is it improv or?
Yeah, improv. So we had like a loose structure of what we were going to do, and then from that we improvised. And obviously, as like the nights went on, some things that came up that were funny, we would be like, all right, let's keep that. Or if something was bad, we'd be like, let's get rid of that. Kind of thing.
That's fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
It's challenging though, because you'd be on such a high from one night, and then the next night it would be such a different audience, and it wouldn't mean that it was bad, but it wouldn't necessarily be replicated from what happened before. So you'd have to kind of go with each one and see, and so everything was very different.
Oh, so that was like live sketch.
Yeah.
So you're performing live at the Fringe Festival.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So every night, like even though there was that basis of what was happening, it was generally improvised, the whole thing. So it was
So you guys have never really performed these sketches anywhere else, like on YouTube or anything like that?
We've only done on like YouTube.
Okay.
But the thing with YouTube and like editing your own videos is you can cut out the bad stuff.
Yeah.
But when you're doing live, you can't cut out the bad stuff. So you can hear like the jokes just flop or go really well, or you know what I mean. Sometimes it would go super well, and then you'd be like, oh, this one's going to be good, and then you'd do that one, then no one would laugh, and you'd be like, great, knock that in, that's not going to happen again.
Yeah, sketch comedy is a tough one to crack into. I mean, like, what drew you to comedy in the first place?
I guess I just loved making people laugh. I don't know, it's my favourite thing to hear people laugh, and I think I obviously love drama too, but it's just I feel really comfortable in comedy, and I don't know, becoming the whole acting thing when you can become someone else, so you can forget about your own problems sometimes, and you don't have to think about them while you're doing that, and hearing people laugh, and that kind of, it gets like, I don't know, you can't take that feeling away. So I love doing live theatre because of that, but I also love more at the minute like getting into like TV and film and that kind of thing. But with the live theatre you can obviously get the immediate reaction from hearing people laugh and that, but sometimes you don't know how you've gone when you put stuff out online. Unless we did get a troll once, they said it was really bad.
So, oh really? Yeah. No way. Someone left a comment on your video and they said it was really bad.
Am I allowed to swear? Or I don't know. They said
you can swear.
They were like,
it should be,
don't show us this shit content again. Is what
really?
they wrote.
Oh, that's horrible.
So it was funny though, because we were like, oh great. At first I was like, oh, that's awful, but then you're like, well, now you got a troll. You must be getting somewhere.
Wow, you're really thinking about things differently now that you've done sketch comedy.
Yeah.
Like a troll is a good thing.
Well, at least they're noticing, I guess, that you're bad.
Okay.
But yeah, we've done like that's been a really fun one, doing the Shaz and Tina stuff, because we've done a lot of different things. They were talking about like, you know, the whole Harvey Weinstein thing. There was an episode called To Harvey and Friends and things like that. So we just sort of, whatever's current, that was current at the time. So we did that one, that got heaps of views. And then we've done other ones like on dating and relationships, or exercise, fitness, health, things like that. Whatever's kind of in the news at the time as well is something that we would go off. So at the time that was relevant.
Okay. So did you create like a personality for Shaz yourself?
It just came about with putting on these wigs. The funny story is we had the opposite wigs on, and we did something, and then at the end I was like, doesn't quite feel right. Can we swap and just see if that will work? And then we did that, and then when we swapped and those words came out of our mouths, it's like, yeah, this is the right thing.
So how would you describe Shaz's personality?
She's very bogan.
So you're doing like a bogan accent?
Well, yeah, it's just, yeah.
Okay.
She's a very innocent, I think, and of the two, Tina's more direct and more like assertive, and gets annoyed with her very easily, and then Shaz is more like innocent and wants everyone to be friends and like loves people's smiles and stuff like that, but she's a bit, you know, clumsy, a bit aloof as well, so it's been really cool.
Do you have any tips for people trying to get into sketch comedy? It's rough.
Yeah I think, I don't know, just keep at it, I would say, like, and just don't be, I guess, like, don't, if something goes bad, don't take it personally necessarily. You have to sort of clock it and then move on and just keep at it, because it can be tough. Like the thing I think as well is something I think of often is that when we do sketch comedy, obviously because it's comedy, we want people to laugh, and when we don't get the laughter, then it's really depressing. So but then you can get stuck in pushing too much with the character, like hamming it up too much, and then it becomes not funny. Whereas if you're really truthful to the character and truthful what's happening and not pushing for the laughs, not trying to get the laughs, that's when the laughs will come. Because often when we're trying to get them, then we're just trying too hard.
That almost sounds like life.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, life is the same thing.
Okay. All right. And yeah, it's like impressive as well sometimes how comedians can just rebound on stage. Like,
yeah,
things are happening like by the minute, and you might just get like an audience member just shouting out something, and you have to rebound, or you tell a joke and it's not funny and it falls flat, and you have to rebound on stage.
Yeah, exactly.
It's incredible.
So you've done a bit of it.
I haven't done any of it yet. Okay, yeah. But I think it'll be fun, but like really rough.
Yeah, it is rough. Yeah. Like when we did the Fringe Festival show, that really taught me. I was like, oh, we really need to work with things, and also because sometimes people will arrive late, and we weren't having lockouts on our shows or anything. We would let them in, but then you'd have to like go off the fact that someone just walked in the middle of your speech or whatever. So that kind of actually worked well sometimes, because we'd sort of like look at something about them and then note that and say it out loud, and then it would come up like repeatedly throughout the rest of the show, kind of thing. So it worked well in that sense.
Okay.
And then we also did hosted for Brent Street this thing. It was like a very last minute hosting thing. It was for Entertainment Assist, which is a company that helps with mental health with artists and stuff in the industry. So we helped host something, and that was very last minute. So that was our first big thing before the Fringe Festival into live.
So that was Shaz and Tina
hosting it.
Right.
But that was our first live thing.
Okay.
So it was like that. We also flopped a bit there. Like, but we did really well. But then we had moments where it was like, oh, it's so difficult, because that was our first thing of not being able to cut out the bad stuff.
Yeah.
Because with editing, we'd be like, oh, we'll sit behind a camera and film for. We used to start at like 30 minutes, and then we'd cut down to about 5, which would take forever to try and get it perfect. But as we've progressed on, we've gone, okay, let's cut it at 15 minutes now, or 10 minutes, so that we don't have to cut so much.
Yeah.
We've kind of learnt as we've gone on.
That's cool.
Yeah, but then when we did the hosting, it was like, oh, we can't cut out what we're doing.
You're just saying it right there, live,
like,
to the audience. Okay, so how did you get that gig from, I guess, going into like from videos to a live audience? How did you find that transition?
I think, so we're both with the same agent, Nisreen and I, and they've been super supportive of us, and they love Shaz and Tina, so they were like, can you come and do a little act at the Brent Street thing? And then the girl who was meant to be hosting, she had something happen and she couldn't make it. So we just said to Lucas, do you want the girls to help you? And he was like, okay, actually. So that was like how the first thing happened for that. And then after that, our agent Nat was like, let's talk about this some more. And
about this Shaz and Tina thing.
Yeah. So they've been really great about it. And then, we just sort of did the Fringe Festival thing, and so we had something a bit more structured and that kind of thing. Because I like action movies, and I often see action movies
by yourself. Really? Because I always thought like movie going was this like social shared experience.
See, I find it hard because I feel like people want to talk to me, and I'm like, I'm listening. Like,